Animals that have great courage and ability. They are considered spirits. Some spirits are given a human form by the gods, spirits that have a humanoid form. Humans are usually considered to be prophets. But there are also evil incarnations who are crazy about that power. People call them demons. In the depths of the forest, there was a young man running scared. It turned out that he was being chased by a group of bandits, and they also stole all the property from these people. However, just after they did their job, the bandits were shocked by all these wolves who had lost mysteriously. They were also confused about all this. Suddenly, they were shocked by a spirit that was in that place along with a large wolf. They thought that the man was the leader of the wolves. These bandits didn't care whatever happened, because they were still going to steal from that man. Suddenly, a red lizard bit the bandit's leg, and it bothered him. When the bandit was solving his problem with the lizard, suddenly they were shocked by the spirit man who had woken up. Not long after that, the spirit man punched the bandit in the face. The spirit man was angry because he thought the bandits had touched the lizard roughly, and he wasn't going to let that happen. They looked angry because he had finished off their friend. The spirit man said that person wasn't finished yet, but their anger couldn't be contained anymore, and they started to surround him. Because he was surrounded by many people, this barbarian soldier began to take out his 2 axes to immediately fight against them. Finally, the fight began. This barbarian warrior fought them all using his 2 axes, and he seemed skilled in using these weapons, so that all those who attacked him were defeated. All of them who saw the ferocity of the barbarian warrior looked frightened, because that person was like a monster when fighting. The bandits began to carry out their plan. They started using long-range attacks to stop the man's movements. The bandits also carried out long-range attacks. Instead of avoiding the attack, the barbarian soldier chose to protect the red lizard, so he was deliberately hit by the long-range attack. An unexpected incident occurred. Suddenly, the reaction of the barbarian soldier's body changed, so that the arrow had been hit did not seem to work on him. And it turned out that it was a reaction to his spirit power. A red aura in the form of a dragon was seen coming out of his body, so it changed his appearance physique. When this change occurred, one of the bandits shouted that he was a demon, but when he heard that, suddenly his power stopped. It appeared that someone had been monitoring the situation from afar. Then the barbarian warrior was captured and brought to the city. When they arrived at the headquarters, the leader of the group was surprised to find that there was a big wolf around the forest. This leader looked confused, because how could a single man manage to defeat many wild wolves, along with one large wolf? At the same time, this man was chattering. If he were them, then the first thing would be to burn the large wolf, but the words of the barbarian warrior sounded strange. This man's name was Ananta. It seemed that he was very hungry, so it sounded strange to them. But what was certain that they saw the man trying to turn into a beast during the incident, and they even suspected that the terror had been happening around the forest recently was his doing. There was a story about a demon that was disturbing this area, but it was clear that the man was human. They still denied it, as evidence of the wound the big wolf caused that man, and it was clear that this man was a demon with a mask. Suddenly, Ananta laughed when he heard this, and this made them even more convinced that he was a demon. But for Ananta, this really happened when a demon spirit ate another spirit. For Ananta, these bandits didn't understand all this, even what the demon spirit doing. Then suddenly, an unexpected incident happened. It was seen that the monster had woken up and was causing trouble. It was not the body of an ordinary monster, but a creature that was once a spirit, but had fallen into the hands of a demon spirit. The situation outside the bandit base is in danger because many wolves are attacking. It can be seen that there is a demon spirit leading and organizing attacks towards the base. The wolves in large numbers started to rush in through the gate. As a result of this, the horde wolves managed to get inside and attack the bandits, but they took the initiative to burn the horde wolves. It seemed like the strategy of burning the wolves was effective. But this demon spirit sensed the presence of another spirit. Can see from a distance that spirit is hungry and thirsty, as if this spirit was born to fight. Then this spirit is ready to fight at any time. The spirit is Ananta. The human form changes into half-dragon. Then finally, the fight between Ananta begins. Ananta, with a half-dragon transformation, emerged from the burning coals to immediately fight. With his anger, he would defeat the demon spirit with his own hands. A fight was unavoidable. At the same time, the demon spirit chose the first step, to see the limits of Ananta's strength, by ordering the remaining wolves to attack him. The horde of wolves started to attack him, but he easily managed to defeat the 2 wolves who were trying to attack him. After subduing 2 wolves, he immediately used his claws to carry out one fatal attack on the entire wolf pack. The demon spirit finally knew Ananta's attack pattern, and the demon spirit prepared to attack him back. Ananta, with his half-dragon transformation, and the mysterious demon spirit attacked simultaneously. Their attacks collided with each other and resulted in a high explosive power. But the fight was still not over. They were seen both attacking each other, until finally the demon spirit managed to find an opening and attacked Ananta with its claws. Unexpectedly, the attack from the demon spirit seemed to be too weak, so Ananta managed to hold it back and hold the demon spirit's hand, after which he immediately threw a punch at the demon spirit until it was sent flying. The fight ended. Ananta's hard punch seemed to have defeated the demon spirit in one blow. Then Ananta began to return to human form. It was also seen that the demon spirit also returned to human form. Ananta started to check, and it turned out it's a woman. Then he was surprised that from the start this woman had lost consciousness when she turns into demon spirit. Suddenly he felt a presence from afar, and indeed he was attacked by another spirit, making him confused as to who was attacking him. It turned out that he was the demon spirit that caused terror around his forest, that the demon spirit could also carry out human form, so he didn't expect that his puppet could be defeated so easily by Ananta. It turned out that this person had been monitoring Ananta for a long time, but it seemed like he was sick of hearing the old man's chatter. What he wanted right now was to fight any demon spirit. Then not long after, the old man immediately changed into the form of a crow demon spirit. If the demon spirit could defeat Ananta, then he would make him a puppet just like before. The demon spirit immediately activated its power. It could control the souls of creatures that had been loose before and becoming puppets. After that, it controlled them to attack Ananta. They also looked like undead attacking simultaneously on the orders of the crow demon spirit to Ananta. He was hit by all these attacks at once, making him unable to move. After Ananta felt had no strength, the crow demon spirit immediately attacked him. It turns out it was all just part of his plan. He immediately changed into his spirit form. The explosion of aura from the change in his spirit was so powerful that the crow demon spirit was shocked to see it. The difference in power between the Ananta and the crow spirit is clearly visible. Currently he is trying to transform into the form of a black dragon spirit. It can be seen from his face that he has been waiting for this. Ananta's black dragon transformation was only 75% of his perfect transformation, but the power was enough to defeat the crow demon spirit in one attack. It can be seen that the attack pattern from it is that there are many black dragon souls attacking the crow demon spirit. As a result of this, the crow spirit can't do anything. That woman who was previously controlled finally realized, and she saw with her own eyes, that Ananta's power was very strong. She was shocked by that. Ananta approached that woman and told her that she was now free from the control of the demon's power. She also told about the incident. At that time, she only went towards the wings that were shining brightly, but here he seemed to know the meaning of her words. Ananta told her that she was a victim of the wing. Hearing this, she was shocked and asked his identity. Then he told her that he was Ananta, the last survivor, the descendant of the Black Dragon. Someone who will devour all demons and finish off the incarnation of wings. It seemed she didn't understand the meaning of Ananta's words, because the statement about the Black Dragon to her wasn't the same as the manifestation of those wings. She fell asleep. At that time, she had a dream where she was running scared, chased by a demon spirit. She fell, and when she looked in the mirror in the water, she saw the embodiment of the demon spirit was herself. Then a lot of damage was caused to her. She was afraid of it, but suddenly a bright white light appeared in front of her, and it made her confused and afraid. Finally, she woke up from her sleep. In front of her, there was also a person who told about her situation. Then that person knew that she had a nightmare. There was also Ananta, who ordered a red lizard named Ruby to burn the demon spirit he had previously defeated. As a result of this, all the terrible objects affected by Demon God were erased. Then this person thanked Ananta for cooperating. For Ananta, it was not cooperation, but rather an agreement, because he did this on the basis of bad information he got from her, and asked for payment now. Then this person asked the woman's name, and her name was Nadia. She knew when she saw her that Nadia was also a scapegoat like Ananta. She stated that Nadia was also in a hurry about something. Then she immediately activated the Time Cock's ability to move places. They all moved to another place as if they had fallen into a big hole downwards. They had reached their destination. Then this person confirmed that she was a member of the largest intelligence agency on this continent called Hayanbul, and her partner was Ananta. Hayanbul also explained this place to Nadia, that now they were in the cafes of the biggest buying and selling city in the south. Then the big tree in front was called the goat tree or white lotus tree. But when she heard this, Nadia felt annoyed, because for what purpose she was brought to this place. Ananta immediately told her to enter this city if wanted to get the answer he wanted. While traveling in the city, Nadia wanted to know what kind of person Wing Incarnation was, why Ananta wanted to chase him. Then he answered that Wing Incarnation thought he could become a god and the most disgusting wild animal. Then Hayanbul added that Wing Incarnation can give power, whether it's a blessing or a curse for the human to whom it gives power. They had arrived at the trading center, and it seemed that the situation there was not as expected. Welcome to the slave market in Cafes. For some reason, the Cafes market is now growing very fast. Immigrants, nomads, and wanderers who have been captured by slave hunters, even mystical animals. Nadia asked what kind of strange place this was and what it had to do with Wing Incarnation. Then she was kicked. Ananta kicked her and fell into a room. When she saw the contents of the room, it turned out they were all humans. People who lost hope and fear. Then Ananta told her that they were offerings for the Wing Incarnation. A big tree that looks like light, apparently on top of it is a sacrifice. For Ananta, Nadia is the same as them, because to hunt down Wing Incarnation, she has to be bait. They left Nadia, then she didn't stay silent and trying to speak. The people who hear were Ananta's actions, and he didn't deny it. When she heard this, she was angry at what he had done to these people. For Nadia, does Ananta not feel guilty because she has used innocent people to achieve his goals? But for Ananta, he is willing to do whatever it takes if he has to get his hands dirty to achieve goals. Nadia can't accept all of these things, but for Hayanbul, this is normal. Hearing Hayanbul's reasonableness made Nadia angry, and she wouldn't let them take advantage of her. When she heard that reaction, it was the same as Ananta in the past. Hayanbul immediately told Nadia the truth, that when she was controlled by the demon god to end everything, even if that wasn't Nadia's intention, hearing this she'd be afraid. Nadia's anger should not be directed at her and Ananta, it should be towards our common enemy, namely the Wing of Incarnation. On the other side, Ananta is preparing for something. Then Hayanbul comes to give him a lecture that the sacrifice should have nothing to do with his. Ananta asked about that woman. Hayanbul confirmed that Nadia to cooperate, and according to plan, they were now heading to the White Lotus Temple. Offering was the starting point to meet the incarnation of Wings. They had also completed preparations to hunt a helper in the Lotus Temple who could not be attacked because the barrier had been set up. If Ananta gets the Lotus Tree branch given to the winner of the arena, it won't be long before he meets the incarnation of Wings. For Hayanbul, if Ananta makes a decision early, it will be easier to attract the enemy's attention. However, there are limits that must not be crossed. On the subject of the monster Ananta trying to draw a limit between the human and animal realms, he immediately knows what Hayanbul is thinking and tells her not to worry too much about it. It had been a long time since he didn't go on a rampage as he pleased, and now was the right time, then tell her to just sit calm. This was his way to hunting wild animals, and he told her not to attract too much attention, because if he did, he didn't know what would happen. He couldn't guarantee that, and would consider it. Then in the arena, there were many fighters who were using formations to fight large mystical animals. This man ordered his soldiers not to leave the line and stay in position, but Ananta came to cut the line. They had all blocked his way and were preparing to fight the huge mystical beast. Ananta, with his 2 axes, attacked the mystical animal fiercely. This shocked them. He slashed the mystical animal several times. This man didn't seem to believe it when he saw that an ordinary human could single-handedly defeat a large, vicious, mystical animal. Then he jumped to end the attack, swinging his 2 axes so hard that he defeated the mystical animal. The audience in the arena marched to the shock. Ananta managed to defeat this vicious mystical animal alone. After that, he looked at the god tree and promised to devour off the incarnation of wings. Finally, all of them, including Nadia, had entered the top of the god tree. For Nadia, whether this person is the incarnation of wings, she still doesn't know that. What is certain that this man welcomed them as offerings for the incarnation of wings. The White Lotus Tree Temple is surrounded by a powerful protector called a sacred tree. Its purpose is unknown, but the avatars of the wings make nests there and ask for sacrifices, with those who offer sacrifices getting a chance to participate in the Sifus arena. Then fighters who can defeat powerful spirit beasts will be given the power of branches from the White Lotus tree, and those who are qualified will gain great power from the incarnation of wings. The people here looked very scared, and this man introduced himself that he was the saint who owned a place called the White Lotus Tree, avatar of wings, named Balzac. Balzac told everyone here to be calm, then told everyone to relax and entrust everything to the wing of salvation. Suddenly, there was a prisoner who asked for kindness, but not long after an unexpected incident occurred. And this scared the others, but not Nadia. She still looked angry. As a result of that anger, she activated her demon spirit power, and this was discovered by the Guardian of Wings. Nadia's demon spirit power has been activated due to her outburst of anger, but for Balzac it is commonplace that at each stage there must be an avatar that rebels. Suddenly she saw deep down in her subconscious that she was the monster who had caused the damage, not the avatar. But this boy convinced Nadia to keep going and not lose. Then finally she was able to stop her demon power. Suddenly she activated her own power by releasing roots from the ground to protect and attack all the Guardians of Wings. Here at this time, she will protect everyone here with her own power. Because she talked too much then irritated Balzac. Suddenly a sudden attack came and attacked her hard. For Balzac, she was just an avatar from an unknown land. But for her it wasn't, that she also had a name to be proud. That her name is Nadia, she is the avatar of nature, then for Balzac, she was too brave to do this. Nadia didn't know the previous invisible attack or telekinesis that hit her, but what was certain, that she would exert strength in one attack. Finally, she attacked Balzac with succulus. Balzac seemed confident in his power, and he immediately released his power. Ananta and the others saw that there was a commotion at the top of the peak. They were confused about what was actually happening out there. Nadia was surprised that Succulus' highest level attack could be defeated with one attack. The level was different from the attacks she had managed to block before. Balzac suddenly took out a large cage from above. She was confused about what he was actually doing. A monster like a big bird came out of the cage. Then this kid told her to be careful. Suddenly, Nadia was hit by an attack in the form of a small spear at such a high speed that she couldn't read the movement of the spear. Balzac took out his pet in the form of a bird that looked like a dragon, a monster that rises again after 1,000 years of possession by Balzac. Seen in the arena, the fight was over. Ananta managed to defeat the mystical animal. As a result of what Ananta did, plans and situations changed, then now they look confused about this. Finally, Guardians of Wings came bringing branches from the White Lotus tree, because there was a winner in the arena, but Duke Bernhard convinced his soldiers to remain calm, and the situation was still according to plan. Finally, Ananta managed to get a branch from the White Lotus tree, so now he just had to carry out the plan. On the other side, those who see Nadia helpless when facing Balzac can only be silent in fear. At this time she cannot handle his power alone. It seems like protecting them all is impossible for Nadia with her current power. Balzac is too strong for her. But she wouldn't just stay silent. She was forced to activate her demon powers. Even Balzac, who saw her trying so persistently, felt irritated. Finally, he began to use his power to eliminate Nadia's fighting spirit. Suddenly, sharp roots came out of the ground in the cage that Nadia had made. An unexpected thing happened. She was shocked when she saw this. After they were all eliminated, the roots started to stab into the big bird. It turns out that Balzac used them to increase the power of his pet. And now its power has increased quickly, which is definitely impossible to defeat. Apart from increasing the big bird's power, it also has other functions, and Nadia can only watch it all in silence. Another function is to revive the previously defeated Guardian of Wings. As a result of this, Balzac has created Immortal Soldier, and they will protect the White Lotus tree. For Nadia, this is a disgusting power, because of course there will be many sacrifices. What Nadia said was true, so now he tied her up with the roots of the tree and prepared to finish her off. Suddenly someone forced their way into this place. Turned out that person was Ananta. He managed to reach this place, then immediately jumped to attack Balzac. Balzac, who was shocked to see Ananta's sudden attack, was finally hit hard. Finally they met. He also didn't think that Nadia could still survive until now. It turns out that Balzac was attacked using a branch from the White Lotus tree, a prize when Ananta won the arena. He also didn't think that Ananta could be here with his power. He also asked Nadia where the Wing of Incarnation was, and why she was with that noisy person. Hearing Ananta's words made Balzac very angry, and he immediately released his true power to transform into a bird demon. Their fight was inevitable. He was looking forward to this and immediately released his power to fight Balzac. Then Ananta confirmed to Nadia that those were not the Wings of Incarnation. While on the other side, Duke led an attack into the temple along with his soldiers by breaking through the main door. He and his troops were fighting the Guardian of Wings at the main door and managed to dominate the battle. After that, he began to enter the main gate. When he looked inside, he was shocked because many Guardians of Wings had been defeated here. Duke concluded that Ananta was also targeting the Incarnation of Wings. Elsewhere, their fight immediately began, but here Nadia also found out that this person was not the Incarnation of Wings after being told by Ananta. According to him, why is the Incarnation of Wings given such a majestic name? Its characteristic is the symbol of 3 pairs of white wings. The Incarnation of Wings didn't even have the right pair, and if someone imitated it should have paid more attention to its appearance. That now what was in front of him is just trash. Not long after, Balzac immediately ordered the Guardian of Wings to attack him, but here he was already preparing for this fight. First, he untied the roots that were hit Nadia. He knew the reason she had persisted until now. After that, Ananta told her to finish her business and leave the area. Nadia complied and immediately ran towards the kid. He, with the power of his dragon claw hands, fought all the Guardians of Wings without the slightest hesitation. Then suddenly, the undead bird spat out a large number of bone thorns from its mouth towards Ananta. He quickly managed to avoid the direct attack. It was seen that he had used his half-dragon transformation mode, after which he immediately attacked the undead bird. Ananta's direct attack managed to hit the creature, but it seemed like the impact of the attack was still not strong. That creature counterattacked, but he managed to avoid it. After dodging the creature's attack, he jumped and immediately gathered energy in his right hand, then powerfully threw a punch at the undead creature. The undead creature was defeated by Ananta with just one hard blow. After finishing off the creature, he was a little careless, and Balzac immediately did not waste this opportunity, then attacking Ananta directly with a blast of wind. As Balzac is about to carry out his final attack, Nadia also knows the approach of Balzac's attack. It is the same as when her previous attack was successfully stopped. But Ananta, who still had full strength, got up holding Balzac's leg. He started grabbing Balzac's legs and arms, but he wouldn't just stay still and trying to get out of Ananta's grip. Then finally he managed to get out of the situation. Ananta continued to chase Balzac. After a sufficient distance, he started attacking him with his claw, but Balzac skillfully managed to avoid all his attacks. But he had not given up attacking. When he almost reached him, Ananta was hit by a sudden attack. Balzac's wind claws succeeded in causing high damage until he experienced something bad. However, it turns out that Ananta has high regeneration, so the wound managed to recover quickly. Balzac was shocked when he saw Ananta's strength, because he was still able to survive his fatal attack. Then Ananta started to gather energy in his right hand. After that, he started launching a dragon claw attack. Balzac tried to block the thrown dragon claw attack, but it failed because it was not strong enough. As a result, he was hit by an attack from Ananta. Nadia was shocked when she saw Ananta's attack working. Then Balzac withstood the damage caused by Dragon Claw. Suddenly, the undead birds approached Balzac. It seemed like they were going to do something terrible. It turned out that Balzac and the undead bird had combined into one. But this didn't deter Ananta. He immediately jumped up to attack Balzac. In the sky, it seemed like someone was watching their fight. When Ananta was almost approaching him, Balzac made a sudden attack. But he managed to avoid it. Then Ananta quickly responded with his dragon stab. After successfully launching the dragon thrust, he dodged away from Balzac. Because he felt a sign of danger, it turned out that Balzac was actually preparing to launch an attack. The preparation for the attack is first he locks the movement of Ananta by wrapping the legs with strong roots. When he couldn't move, Balzac immediately prepared for a big attack. Balzac started attacking him with a large number of big thorns, and Ananta prepared to receive the attack. The attack was successfully launched and hit the position where Ananta was. Nadia was worried about this, but with very fast movements, he managed to avoid the attack. Balzac felt movement approaching him and quickly jumped towards it. Ananta, with a quick movement, then jumped up to launch a dragon fist attack, and his fist succeeded in hitting Balzac heavily. After attacking, he dodged away. As a result of the attack caused by Ananta, Balzac suffered fatal injuries. There he noticed the changes in the dragon forms. Ananta is different in every fight, and Nadia also knew too about this. His speed was so fast that it was beyond human comprehension. Perhaps his regeneration ability changed his body. So for Balzac, there was no chance of escape when facing Ananta. He had to fight. He started planning something, so it made the local area shake. It turned out that the shake came from underground. Spreading roots appeared trying to reach the Ananta. It turns out that the enemy also has the ability to regenerate. When he continues to attack, Balzac's wounds recover. This is because Balzac has a white lotus tree branch. The longer battle continued, more disadvantaged Ananta would be. Then he looked up that the previous vibration made it fall. He also seemed to be planning something. By jumping up, they were confused about what he was actually doing. He immediately punched the top of the temple until it shattered into pieces. After doing this while in the air, he was hit by a root attack. Balzac suspected that Ananta's plan was to tear down the roof of the temple so the debris can fall on him, but it's in vain. Then he asked how much Balzac he had eaten. He didn't know because there was too much, and he was bored of that question. Not long after, Ananta activated a skill that was difficult to understand, a skill that could awaken and turn into a phantom. Ananta called out those who still had revenge against Balzac, and there were so many of them, he couldn't avoid this. Nadia was shocked by what she saw, and Balzac couldn't get out of this situation. Their numbers are very large. Now they will all take revenge on Balzac for what he did to them. As a result of this, he suffered serious injuries, but suddenly a golden light came from sky and hit directly above Balzac. This strange creature that looked like a god appeared before them, and this made her confused about what was happening right now. Not long after, he lowered his head in front of someone. It turned out that behind Nadia that kid got up, and this shocked her. It turns out he is the incarnation of Wings, and his servant is named Beharan. He came here to accompany the incarnation of Wings. Hamble is seen giving a report about this incident to someone in the form of a crack in the white lotus tree in the sky. That means Ananta has fought in the temple, then the fact that the person serving the Wings appears. And it can be concluded that the incarnation of Wings is in that temple. Meanwhile, Nadia was shocked when she saw the incarnation of Wing, and Balzac was injured during the fight. Balzac was surprised why his master here. Previously he had a bad experience with his master, because he had damaged Balzac's wing. For him, it was to punish Balzac for being intoxicated with false glory. Wings were the destiny that had been given to him to fly high in the sky, but Balzac always respected his master. He was even willing to sacrifice everything to get his lost wings back. But for the incarnation of wings, what Balzac did was very stupid. Finally, Balzac was obliterated by the incarnation of wings. But in that place, Ananta saw that the incarnation of wings had appeared and remembered the past with him. In the past, that the person's goal was to find the firmament and connect this world with the land of the gods. He will never stop until he achieves his goal, even if it means making everyone in the world hate him. But as a result of what the incarnation of wings said, there will be a big sacrifice there, and Ananta will lose something loved. White Lotus Tree was a tree with a beautiful name, but it was nothing more than that. And it was nothing more than the combined power of the branches of the divine tree, that it was a shameful and unworthy imitation compared to the world tree. Suddenly Ananta got up. When he got up, he began to gather dragon energy in both hands and prepared to attack. After gathering energy, he immediately threw the dragon's wind claw towards the incarnation of wings and hit it. However, the attack was successfully blocked by Beharon from the guardian incarnation of wings. Finally, Ananta managed to find the incarnation of wings. As a result of this, his anger was released, and now he will take revenge on the incarnation of wings for what did to his mother. He started to launch an attack. But this wasn't going to be easy. He was blocked by Beharon, which meant Ananta had to face him first. Beharon's blow made Ananta suffer high damage, but it had no effect because his super regeneration made the wound recover. The fight between Ananta and Beharon took place. They both gathered energy in their hands, then simultaneously attacked with their fists. On the other side, Nadia seems to be in danger at the moment, but suddenly an axe attack from Duke Bernhard leads to the incarnation of wings. He managed to dodge the axe attack, but it looked like the two of them already knew each other. The fight between Ananta and Beharon looked fierce, but here he experienced a little difficulty with Beharon's strong blows. But Ananta will not just give up, that anyone who gets in his way will be destroyed. Then after Beharon kicked him, he experienced a change in appearance and strength. Ananta's anger triggered a change in his dragon. Little by little he began to transform into a perfect dragon, and this surprised them. At this time, the incarnation of wings was going to fight the perfect dragon transformation of Ananta, and for him, it was like seeing a familiar from the past. Something familiar is the black dragon Azidahaka. Currently, Ananta has successfully transformed into a black dragon. Long before that, Ananta was in a strange place, and he seemed like a desperate person at that time. At that time he met Azidahaka, a despicable object of his revenge, who took everything from him and was mortally cursed. Azidahaka also gave him the strength to rage and cry endlessly. After receiving the power of Azidahaka, Ananta immediately went berserk and attacked Beharon with Dragon Claw, but he managed to avoid the attack. He lost consciousness and went berserk, but Beharon wouldn't just stay silent. He immediately gathered the energy to immediately attack, the same thing Ananta did. Ananta, with the power of Azidahaka, immediately launched a fire blast attack, and Beharon also launched a light punch attack. The two of them attacked each other, and the effects of their attacks were very large. As a result of such a huge attack power, Duke's intentions did not fade. He remained standing straight to prepare to attack the incarnation of Wing. He had no time left and had to fight it out. When Duke almost attacked him, suddenly with an invisible movement, he managed to attack Duke. It seems like Duke was transformed into a demon spirit by the incarnation of Wing. But Duke's consciousness has not disappeared because of his high intention for revenge. He also has no choice to defeat Duke. After that, he immediately approached Nadia, could see she was shaking and scared. But he admitted that Nadia looked different from her previous self. He had experienced the feeling of fear shaking before, and it was true that this was the person she met at that time. Proof Nadia was a container chosen from branch of the big tree, but she was confused about the meaning of that branch. a magic that transcends the limits of the human form and grants him superpowers, his will to follow the horizons of the world. It seems that Incarnation of Wings revives Balzac, but with a new name and thoughts, it made Nadia shocks. Ananta and Beheron continue to fight fiercely. They attack each other, but the difference in power is visible here. Because his blows didn't work, he decided to retreat. It seems like Ananta was too strong when he turned into a black dragon. This made Beheron look confused when facing him, because Ananta's strength continued to increase. After that, Ananta immediately flew up, and while in the air he gathered the energy of the Azi Dahaka fireball, preparing to attack with full power. The fireball energy from Azi Dahaka is called Fire Jade of Heavens. When the fireball energy had gathered, he immediately attacked the Incarnation of Wing. But he was already prepared for that. For him, this would be the end because Ananta had dared to underestimate him. A clash of forces occurred, but something beyond reason happened. The full power of Azi Dahaka's fire was blown away by the power of the Incarnation of Wings. On the other side, Hanbal also reported what happened there regarding the later situation at the White Lotus Tree, that their main card Ananta had lost the battle with the Incarnation of Wings.